Hello.
Hello.
Hey everyone. So we are about to start, and I was waiting for Emmanuel to join in, but I haven't seen him around like 5 minutes. He would have been somewhere. Let me ping him once, and we will be starting in next 2 minutes. Okay. Can't audio is not working. Uh, Hey Michelle, can you hear me, guys? Gaurav, Shubham, can you hear me? No audio. Okay. Uh, okay. Great. So I hope you all are able to hear me, and we are starting with this series of modern web development, in which we are going to develop a website for the Youth Project Nigeria. I got some time to create a draft, but the final website which we are going to create will be better than this. It is just like a frame on how our website will look like, a clean, neat and clean website about the Youth Project Nigeria. And also, in the further sessions, we would be looking into basics of JavaScript, Vanilla JS, and stuff. So, yes, but the first 2 days are going to be about, or moreover, the first 3 days are going to be about HTML, CSS, and creating your own web page. And we would ask our participants, our team from Nigeria, to create their own website for the Youth Project Nigeria, and we would be launching in uh, their work onto our servers. Also, we will learn how to deploy these websites, static websites, and all. So it's going to be a fun session, and without much further ado, we must start. Like, I would like to start with the introduction of the Youth Project. So the Youth Project is an initiative to upskill the youth and bridge the gap between the college education and the practical education which is required in the industry currently. And not only in India, but in many other countries, this is a big issue which students are facing, that they complete their engineering and they complete their graduate courses, but they are not par the level of the requirement of the jobs. And so we are concentrating basically on the IT skills, the hot skills which are required in the market. And yes, in that way, we are trying to educate the youth, make them more aware about the practical knowledge. Because when we did a survey before starting the youth project, what we found was this, wherein, like, we did a survey on around 2,000 students who were graduating or graduated from a college. And we asked them some simple questions, like they all have learned some or the other language, like Java, C++, or any other language in their college time. So we just asked them, like, whatever you have learned during your studies, can you make something out of it, like a web application or a mobile application or something like that? So most of them told that they were not confident in this at all, and that there lies the issue. That's why there is a lot of supply of engineers and graduates, but they are not able to meet the demand. Even the demand is very high, but they are not able to meet it because they are not part the skill level which is needed. So that's why we decided that we have to deal with this. And me and Gaurav have been into IT since last 6+ years, and we have done many projects here in India and America and Europe. Many places we have dealt with many clients, many prestigious clients as well, like Microsoft, Telstra, etc. And after doing all these things, like in the process also, when we needed the quality developers, we were not able to find those developers easily. And then we came up with the youth project, and we have a very good team. And thank you everyone, like Shubham and Rounak and all our coordinators from India as well. And I would like to thank Emmanuel as well. He is the coordinator for, he's the lead for the youth project chapter in Nigeria. Yeah, it is very at a very starting stage. It is a very young, but in the future we will grow strong, and many people will join in, and we will do many initiatives and stuff like that. So yes, so the worst effects of not being aware of practical knowledge is they spend a lot of money, and then they go and work for very low wages, which we don't want. So that's why, like, where there comes the youth project, and with this, like, we would be doing everything hands on. And what we are trying to make the youth learn is not only the technologies, but the way how you can learn things, like how you can imagine in your mind, like how a programming language works and stuff like that. Because no, we cannot make you cram everything, make you learn everything, and handhold you with everything. You must have the quality to learn, because these days the things are evolving so fast that every day you see new JavaScript frameworks are coming. Okay. And every day you see new technologies are arriving. So you must know how to learn things. We also will deal with, like, how to speak things correctly in programming. If you can speak things correctly, then you can develop correctly. Okay. So yes, and also make you aware about the IT jobs. Like, you can sit in any part of the world, any country, any place, and you can earn in US dollars if you have the right skills. So, and you don't need a degree for that as well. So this is the thing. So and also the importance of practical knowledge, it holds the paramount in importance in your IT life, that you have the practical knowledge of doing everything. And yes, that and hereby, like, with this, we will be trying to make the youth more capable of earning and spending, like, because we feel that the sole purpose of spending on your education is freedom. Okay, if you're not able to achieve financial freedom, freedom with your time, then it is of no sense. So I would recommend that you guys must take everything on a very practical ground and learn how to implement something on your own. Like, even if you're a beginner in HTML, then let's say you keep something in the mind, like a web page like this, and then you can move on to learn things which are needed to develop this particular web page. Okay, instead of learning each and everything, just learn while doing. Okay, and just learn while keeping some project in mind, regardless of what you're learning. um, you must follow this paradigm to achieve the most out of something, some technology or some course. So okay, let me then show you. Let me then start with this HTML thing. And so first of all, like, we would understand what exactly is HTML, and how these web technologies work. So we would be discussing about web development, like what is HTML, and how it works. Then we will use some CSS. We would make the pages beautiful. Then we will create like web pages, and if at all you guys show the interest and we see some response, like people are developing something, then we will have JavaScript and the deployment as well. And yeah, in any case, we will learn how to deploy the websites, because we believe that keeping your websites on your local host is of no sense. Like you must have everything like which you can show to people, right? So we would be following this structure. And okay, so now talking about the basic terminology about web development. HTML is not a programming language. HTML is a markup language. And why I say that is HTML is not like Java or Python, where you first compile the code and then you go on to interpreting it. But here, what happens is the browser in itself is the interpreter of your HTML code, and the HTML code is something which is arranged in like written in form of annotations. I will tell you what annotations are, but it is written in the form of annotations, and those annotations are interpreted by the browser. Okay. And so that's why when someone asks you that why this is not HTML is not a programming language, you should say that HTML is not capable of logical implementation of your business logic. Let's say if you want to have something like, if age is greater than 18, then show this page, else show that page. Then you cannot do it only on HTML. Okay, because HTML is not a programming language, it is a markup language. Okay, so because it cannot implement logics on its own, it needs other languages to implement those logics. So that's why like it is said that battery is going low. Okay, so that's why we'll say that HTML is a markup language. It is interpreted directly by the browser. Okay. Okay. So next thing is the web pages. Web pages are a piece of code rendered on the browser. We will develop those web pages, and finally, when we deploy something onto the server, like onto the web, then it is called deployment. Generally, you have heard saying your government that we have deployed army in the border area. So deployment means like putting your website onto the server. Okay, and we would be doing that. You would learn how to deploy, how to showcase your work to the world. That too for free. You can host your websites for free, and you can show the interviewer that, okay, see, I have developed this website. So we would be doing that. And yeah, so if we talk about web pages, then web pages in simple term, if you see this skeleton over here, skeleton, what is this? Skeletons is the HTML part. Okay, skeleton basically is a part which is not decorated, cannot do anything. It has no life. It is just a structure on which you can build upon. So HTML is a skeleton without any makeup. Then comes the CSS. When you give some life, like when you decorate something, you give some clothes, you give some colors to your skeleton, then it looks a little bit better than before, right? So CSS is that part which makes the web pages look beautiful. And finally, the JavaScript. Let's say you have added a button through your CSS, like a sign up button or a login button. So nor the HTML, neither your CSS knows that whenever login is clicked, what action needs to be performed, what has to be done. Okay, so that's why we use JavaScript, and JavaScript is basically, that's why that it is called brain of your web page. Okay, because your web page doesn't know what actions to take in which situation. Okay, so that's why it is called the brain. So these are the three basic core components of a web page: the HTML, CSS, and the brain. Hope you have understood the basic functionality of these three. And this is not of yours. Yeah. Uh-huh. So what we have learned is what nobody tells you is it's not a HTML is not a programming language but a markup language. It renders differently for different browsers. Yes, it is a possibility that your web page renders differently on Chrome and it renders differently on Edge, and it can be a different experience on both the browsers. So this is the case with HTML. It depends on what the browser is supporting and what not. Okay, so because the browser in itself is a machine, it's a OS. Okay, like you have heard about Chrome OS. So browser in itself is a OS, and this code is interpreted by that operating system, the browser operating system. So it is a possibility that Chrome operating system or Chrome browser understands some part and the Edge does not understand, because they both have different functionalities. It is not that your code have some fault or something, but it is the browser. Now, a good developer makes something which is compatible across all browsers. So if you are an expert level browser developer, then you must take care of all the compatibilities, all the compatibilities across all the browsers and stuff, and also the responsiveness. Okay, so, without much further ado, let's start our hands-on, and let's understand the basic structure of a web page in HTML. And for this, the editor which I would be using, the code editor which I would be using, is Visual Studio Code, and you can download it from this code.visualstudio.com. Personally, I like it a lot, even though this can be done in plain Notepad or Notepad++ or anything you want, any editor you want. But we would be using Visual Studio Code throughout our exercise of these days. And so let me open my Visual Studio Code. And if you have already installed Visual Studio Code, then what you have to do is you can create your working directory on your desktop or anywhere you want. Like I am creating over here, modern web development, Nigeria. Okay. Then inside this, I can go to up right section, top left section, and open my command prompt or PowerShell, anything you want, and you can just write this thing, code dot. If you have Visual Studio installed, then the Visual Studio will get opened in the same directory. If anyone has any doubt or anything else, you can say on the chat window. Our team is present over there. They will deal with it. Okay. Now, inside this modern web Nigeria, I will create my first file. The first file, let me name it index.html. Now you might ask me, why are you naming this as index only? You can name it as ABCD. Yes, you can name it, but it is a standard practice that whenever you start creating some website, the landing page or the welcome page, the main page, where the user arrives for the first time, is named as index.html. One more reason why we name index.html is many servers on which we can deploy our websites, they have the configuration that whenever the user comes to that URL, the index.html page must get rendered. So that's why it is a standard practice, but you can name your page anything. Also, you can configure your server to render your page like abcd.html or anything. So this is the thing, and let's understand the core, like the basic structure of a HTML page. I will tell you what exactly this means. So when I write this first line, that is doc type HTML, this means that I want to use HTML5 version. Okay, and this tells the browser when your page gets rendered. This tells the browser that you need to check the syntax, or you need to check everything of HTML version 5. Okay, you can. There are also specifications wherein you can specify your version as HTML4. Okay, HTML4. There is a syntax for that. Okay, but as HTML5 is the latest, we would be only dealing with HTML5. And the best thing about Visual Studio Code is it already, like, it suggests you with some options. Like whenever you write something, let's say I'm writing HE, then it will suggest me that you can take this. And then when you will when you will write the greater than symbol, then it will automatically suggest you the end tag as well. So what is the end tag? What all are these? So as I told you, that HTML is a markup language and not a programming language, and this markup language is written in form of markup tags. Okay, so what are these tags? These tags are nothing but a code written in form of this, like in between greater than and smaller than, okay, symbol. So this is called a tag. This HTML, I would say that I have written HTML tag. In this, I would say I have written a head tag. Now, a tag can have two things. One, the opening tag, and another is the closing tag. And it is same with this head as well. But some tags cannot, like, will not have the ending tag. Okay, I will tell you what those tags are. We will come on to that. But generally, a tag has two parts. One is the opening tag, another is the closing tag. Okay, and most tags which you will be using will be these kinds of tag. Okay, so now what happens is a basic HTML consists of head, body, okay, head and a body. So what happens here is, like, these two have their own significance. Okay, like what head is a invisible part of the web page. Okay, and body is the visible part of the web page. Let me give you an example. Let's say we go to our browser and I type over here github.com. Then what you will see is the visible part. This whole visible part is your body tag, is your body tag. Okay, and I will tell you the head part as well. You see, on the top where the HTML starts, there is a head part. So this is the invisible part, but it contains some of the most important things of the web page. Why I tell you this is, it contains the JavaScript. It can contain the it can contain the CSS files. Okay, so it is like, it is invisible but a very important part of a web page. Okay, so let's say you want to apply some JavaScript file, or you want to add some CSS files to your web page. Then this part this head part comes into play. When you write, like here you can see link tag is given inside the head. So here they have used some CSS files. They have imported some CSS files from external world. Okay, so this is the part where things are happening, but they are not visible to you on the web page. Okay, so and the body and this thing, whole thing which is visible is the body. Okay, so in our web page also there are two parts. One is the head part and another is the body part. Okay, now what we will do is we have understood head and body. What we will try to understand is what are attributes and how exactly the tags work. Okay, and then we will move on to one by one. We will exploring the tags. Okay, so let's check out. Okay, we have some tags for the heading. Let's say, see here in the head tag, if you want to add, like if you see the GitHub, you see here on the top menu, you will see there is a heading like title given, that is github.com, right? GitHub. And so this how we do it on our website is we add a title tag. As I told you, the tags are nothing but they are markups which have their own capabilities and functionalities. Every tag has their own functionalities. So here I would write type Nigeria. Welcome. As we are going to develop this website, type Nigeria. So I would add title as welcome, type Nigeria. Okay, so this is the title tag. Now if you want to see your web page, what you have to do is right click on this web page in your file, in the left menu in the Visual Studio. You just write reveal in File Explorer, and you can click on this. You will see that your first web page has been rendered. If you see on top, then you see that welcome, type Nigeria. Okay, this is written. So this is the function of the your title tag. Okay, so there are some more tags which we can discuss over here. One is the heading tag. Now apart from title, you don't want anything like you want everything now over here in this part of your web page, right? In this part. So this whole part is body. Okay, this is not head, even though you have written the title in the head, but this whole thing will be written in the body. Okay, so now let's use some of the tags in the body. Let me use h1. So this is nothing but the heading tag. Okay, the everything which is written hello, type Nigeria. So everything which is written in the h1 tag becomes bold and big. So let's check out. You see that this particular text which I enclosed in the h1 tag, okay, h1 tag is now has been bold and big. Now there are some variants of the h1 tag. You can have h2, h3, h4, and the size goes lower as the number increases. So let's use h4 and see what happens. You see the font size has gone very short, right? So this is h1, h2, h3. You can do like this, and you can choose your own font, like whichever size you want. Okay, now let's see some other text over here. So we saw the HTML tag. Now let's see the anchor tag. Okay, let's say I want to make this particular thing as a hyperlink. What is a hyperlink first? So if you see this GitHub page, okay, now if you hover over this particular thing, let's say marketplace, or if you hover over explore or pull requests. So what are these? These are hyperlinks. Because why they are called hyperlinks is when we click on this, it redirects me to another web page. Okay. So see, if you see, you have been redirected to another web page, right? So this is called a hyperlink. Now, what I have to do is I want to have a hyperlink on my page as well. So, welcome to Type Nigeria, explore our Indian website. Okay. So, what I will do is I want this particular text. I want this particular text, explore our Indian website, to be a hyperlink. Like when I click on this, it should direct me to the Youth Project's Indian website. Let's check out first what is the Youth Project's Indian website. So here, when I go to the youthproject.in, okay, I see that this is the Youth Project. This is the page where I want to redirect my user. Okay, when he clicks on that particular link. So you see, this is the page. So what I will do is I will copy the URL. I will copy the URL and just I will go over there. I will use a tag called anchor tag. I will enclose the particular text inside the anchor tag. And what I will say is href. We'll copy this. Okay. Now let me explain you how exactly this is working. Here, if you see, if you will see, then there is a hyperlink created. When I click on this, you will see that the Youth Project's website have been opened. Okay. So what exactly is this href, and what is happening under the hood? So what happens is there are there is something called attributes. Okay. So a tag can have multiple attributes, like anchor tag is having attributes like href, target, and each attribute has their own functions. Like href has the string which is needed. Yeah, I will tell you, Yamini, don't worry. I will tell you. So how to run this. So I will tell you that. So what exactly are the attributes? Okay. So attributes are like nothing but they are like sub functions which a tag can perform. Like anchor tag has an attribute href. Okay. In the href, as the value of href, I give that particular URL which I want my site, where I want my where I want my user to be redirected when the particular text has been clicked. Okay, so in our case, we are using an anchor tag and an attribute called href. Okay, in that attribute value, I am passing the string, the URL, where the user must be redirected, right? On the click of this particular text, explore our Indian website. Okay, so this is how the anchor tag works, and this is the concept of attributes. Okay, so you can in the future you will see multiple attributes like a tag can have an attribute called style. Okay, a tag can have attribute called ID. Okay, a tag can have attribute called class. Okay, I will tell you what the functions are, but these are the attributes like href, class, id, style. These are all the attributes of any tag. Okay, and each attribute has their own functions, has their own capabilities. Okay, so don't confuse with like what are these href, what are ids, what are class. They are just attributes. Okay, we will demystify how these attributes works and how we can use them for our purpose. Okay, so now we have seen the anchor tag. It is quite easy. Now see, as I told you that we are trying to make you speak correctly. Okay, so you have to speak very very carefully and very very correctly that I am using a element or a tag. A tag is also called an element called anchor tag. Okay, a tag, wherein I am using attribute called href. The name of that attribute is href. Hope you guys are able to see. Let me zoom it a bit. Okay, so the name of that attribute is href, and the value of that attribute is this, the url. Okay, and the name and attribute in combined with each other are called a attribute. Okay, so what I will say is href is an attribute of anchor tag. Okay, and I am using the attribute of anchor tag called href. Okay, now let's see how to run it. Yamini, you asked how to run it, right? So in the left panel you see your index.html file, right? You have to right click on that file. You have to click this reveal in file explorer. Okay, if you see that you can open this in Chrome, okay, over here. If not, then what you have to do is you have to right click on this file. You have to go on open with, okay, and open with Google Chrome or your any browser. Okay, so when you click this, then this particular page opens up in your web browser. Okay, and here if you see that when I click on explore our Indian website, then you will see that okay, the Youth Project's Indian website has been rendered, right? So this is the work of the anchor tag. Now, as I told you, just to make you clear the usage of attributes, I will make the use of one more attribute called target. Okay, so what I will again, what you have to say is target is an attribute, is another attribute of anchor, of anchor tag. Okay, and it has its own capability and it has its own values, predefined values. Like if I specify target equals to blank, okay, what happens over here when I click on this, the youth project's website opens up in the new page and not in the in the self. Okay, at the in the self page, no. So this is the use of another attribute we discussed, that is target. So in that manner, now I'm sure that you are very much confident that okay, there are some tags, there are some attributes. Okay, and each attributes have their own functionalities. Okay, just like the tags. So this is the thing. Now let us discuss some, instead of discussing each and every tag, what I will do is let's take our website as an example and let's move on to some advanced concepts. And while developing the website, we will learn each tag, because you can learn the tags on W3 schools as well. But if you don't know how to make something, then it is of no use again, as I told you. So what we are trying to achieve is this kind of web page. Okay. Do you guys have any doubt or anything? You can say that. Okay. And yes, so what we are trying to achieve is this kind of web page for the type Nigeria. And let's demystify. Let's create a skeleton for this particular web page first. Okay, so what happens is there are some things called containers. Okay, now what are containers? Let me take a good example. Okay, let me clear up this whiteboard. I will show you what exactly the containers are. Okay, so imagine that at your home you have multiple containers, right? So one container you have for cookies. Okay, you have another container in which you have some cold drink. Okay, you have some another container in which you have two different other containers which contain salt and pepper. Okay, so this is like a real world analogy of what are containers. Okay, they are nothing more than this, they just contain something. Okay, so this is a container, like a cookie container contains cookies, a cold drink container contains cold drink, and there is a container big enough at your home which can contain two another containers. Okay, which have like salt or black pepper, or one more container is there like it is having chili powder, something something something. Okay, so these are the containers, and in this similar way what you could have done at your home is you could have one container in which you had cookies, in which you have cold drink, in which you have salt, in which you have pepper, okay, in which you have red chili. Then you can understand what kind of mess it would have been, right? So to avoid this mess and to make your code and your things in your web page very modularized and very differentiable with other elements, we use these containers. Okay, so you have multiple containers in your HTML, like div, span, section. Okay, you have multiple containers which you can use, but what we are going to use is they are nothing but they will contain something, like they themselves cannot do anything. Okay, let's say I created a container div. Okay, I created one container. Okay, and in this I have kept my h4 tag. Okay, so container in itself is nothing but something that contains the other tags, a tag which contains the other tags. This is the concept of container. Okay, so here also what we have done is, if you see our web page, where it is, here it is. Okay, if you see our web page, then you will see three containers over here, three big, like three parent containers over here. Like I'm not talking about currently about containers inside containers, but three major containers are there. That is, first, this black thing, this black the boundary, the whole thing, the black strip over here. Okay, now the second container is this, in which you have two boxes. Okay, and the third container is this bottom thing, in which you have written the youth project, all rights reserved. Okay, so these are the three major containers which we have in our web page. Okay, So let's go and create the same 3 containers onto our web page. Let me remove these things. I have created 3 containers on my web page. Okay. Now, the first container will contain the top things, that is this type Nigeria, connect with us for updates, contact founders, team, and stuff. Okay. This is the first container. The second container is the middle part, the white part, and the third container contains this particular thing, the Youth Project 2020, and same thing we have over here. Now, what I will do is I will tell you the structure of this particular thing through a diagram only. I'm sorry for the bad sketch, but I don't have a pen with me currently. I forgot it in my office, so I'm doing it by the mouse. So yeah, so over here what we will do is, let me, yep, here, this is our web page. Okay, this is the container 1, this is the container 2, and this is the container 3. Now here what we will do is we will make containers inside containers. Okay, like the logo is another container, these links are another container, everything over here, this is one container, this is one container, and this is only one container. Okay, so how this structure looks like, you can imagine now how we have to arrange our divs inside our web page. Okay, so let's go on and create the container inside the container. Okay, so what we will do is, here first we will create a container for so if you see over here, then this type and Nigeria are 2 different containers, guys. Okay, so mind what I'm doing. Okay, and just pay attention to what I'm doing. I will say type, I will again use div, I will say Nigeria. Okay, so these are 2 divs, these are 2 containers. Now I will create those containers, like connect with us, contact founder, team. Okay, so let's go on and create div connect with us, div contact founders, div team. Okay, so now I have created a basic structure over here. Let me add a comment, links, and logo section. Okay, so if you see carefully over here, then you will find that, okay, this is the basic container, that is the parent div, and it has 2 containers inside, that is 2 divs inside it, and in fact 5 divs, 2 here and 2 here, sorry, 3 here. Okay, so there are 5 div inside this div. Okay, and here in the second div, I'm talking about this particular thing. this thing. Okay, so here also there are two things. Okay, you're not able to get the hyperlink in my page. Don't worry, we will do that. We will do that. Okay, so here I will create two containers inside this. First, you understand the bifurcation of your web page. Okay, how we are trying to arrange this web page. Okay, you will automatically understand everything. Okay, so this is how we have arranged our web page, and inside over here I will directly write div, and here I will write percent copy the all rights reserved. Okay, 2020, and here I will write, just to separate the concerns, I will write uh, in the image box, and here the info box. Okay, so now we have created the whole structure of how our web page is going to be arranged. Okay, the basic structure like this, which I'm telling, container inside container. So div is nothing but a container, and there can be X number of container inside that container. And you will realize in the next sessions and in the next classes that why these containers are so important. And you can do everything without these containers. But if you want to create neat and clean web pages in a very easy code and very like minimalistic code, yet very powerful, and in future you can make those web pages mobile responsive, then you have to use this thing. I would have told everything using paragraph and headers and stuff, but no, that is an old practice. Okay, and we would be learning only the latest standards. So here, this is the header container or div. This is the middle section container. And this over here is the footer container. Okay. So now let's see how our web page looks like. Okay. So this is how you see the web page of your web page looks like currently. Okay, and now in the next in the next part of our course, we would be making it very beautiful, and we would be dealing with how we can arrange these things in the way we want. Okay, so this is the structure which you have to create till today. Like you have to create this particular structure, you have to understand this particular structure, and apart from this, like there are some tags like Yamini, you have. Okay, Michelle, I'm doing that. So if you see, I have created a container for header. This is the header container. It starts here, it ends here. I have created another container which contains two things, the image box and the info box. Okay. Similarly, the footer contains just one container inside it. Have you guys understood this particular bifurcation and segregation of context, like the header, body, and the footer section? Okay, so this is how this is a practice which we are going to follow. Now, what I need to tell you is something about, okay, some of you, like someone told that you're not able to add hyperlink, right? So how to add a hyperlink? Let's say I want to make this team word as a hyperlink, okay? Then what I will do is I will use a tag. I will keep this word team inside this a tag, okay? Here my a tag starts, here my a tag ends. I will use an attribute of a tag called href equals to double quotes, okay? And here I will pass that particular link where I want my user to get redirected when he clicks the team, okay? Let's say I want him to get redirected to google.com, okay? So when, and let me replace this thing, Google, okay? Let me save. You see, when I will click, when I will click this thing, you will be redirected to google.com. So Yamini, you might be doing something like a small mistake in this particular thing, like starting and ending. You contact me. I will tell you on WhatsApp if you have any problem. So this is the thing, how you can make something a hyperlink. Okay, now we have understood the concept of containers. Okay, now what I want to tell you is the containers which you have kept in your home. Okay, here. Okay, but before that, what I must tell you is, let's say you want this particular thing, like the div over here. You want that it must be having a background color as black. Okay, so what you will be doing? You will be adding the background color to this particular div as style. You will use a attribute called style first. Okay, style equals to double quotes and background color as black, or let's say this one. I don't know which one is this. Okay, so the style attribute is used to apply the style inline to your tags. So let's say I want to style my this particular container, that is the header container. Okay, so what's happening over here? Let's see. You will see that this particular div has got the color which we have given. Okay, now let's say I want to give a background color to this particular div. Style equals to background color. Okay, style equals to background color, and I say that the color must be coral. And similarly, in the footer div, in the footer container, I want to apply the style as background color as okay. So you see what I have done is, in the middle section, I have inside this div, I have used an attribute called style, and in that style I have passed the background color as coral. So this is a basic CSS. I would not go deep into CSS today. I'm just telling you that you can use these attributes. Okay, use this attribute for for writing your style, but this is not the correct way. You see that these three are three different containers which we can see right now. Okay, so now I think your containers concept is a bit clear. You can see there are three different containers. Okay, and even you can apply styles like to each container. Let's say over here you write, okay, you write inside this. Then what you will see is this particular child of that outer container has been colored to orange, right? Because we applied the style to this particular div only. Okay, so here you can use multiple attributes, and now, but writing the styles in this particular way is not the correct thing. Okay, I will tell you what is the correct approach to write the style. You have to use your head tag to write the styles, but before that we can discuss about the IDs and class. Okay, how the IDs and class works. Okay, because see this this one property, let's say dark orange, and then you want that font also to be changed. Font here, font size equals to 30 or 20 px, font color equals to something. You want to apply multiple styles. So if you apply multiple styles in a single line, then it would be a long line which you'll not be able to read in the future. Okay, so if let's say I have applied this thing, you see the type size has been increased, but this is not the right way. I will tell you, and you understood that why this is not the right way. Okay, because if you write all the styles inline, so this is called the inline CSS. Okay, inline styles. So if you write everything in a single line, then your code is going to like going to be 1 mile long. Okay, now what you have to do is, for this what we use is concept of IDs and classes. So let's say you have three different containers at your home. Here, okay, you have three different containers at your home, and you don't know, like you don't know which container contains what. Okay, and so what you will do is you will assign a tag to them. Okay, so you will give an ID to each container. Cookie container, right? Second, you will give ID as drink container. And here you will give ID as, let's say, salt container. So what happens is these three IDs are given to each container, and now we know that okay, if I want to have cookies, I just have to see the ID, and I want to just, I will see the cookies ID, cookie container, and I will go to the first container. If I want salt, if I want to take out some salt, then I will just go to this salt container and I will take some salt out, right? So we have defined that okay, these three have their own IDs. Similarly, we can assign each and every tag an ID in our HTML page. Let's say the body tag I want to give the body as ID, my body. Okay. Inside this, the first div, I want to give the ID as header container. To the second div, I want to give the as ID as info, middle info container. Okay. And in the third div, I want to give an ID as footer container. You see, now what I have done is I have just provided ID to each of these particular containers. Now, what is the use of these IDs? Okay, just to avoid as we seen that if I want to apply style on this particular container, I was writing in a single line that style equals to this background color and font size and stuff. Okay, but if I have provided the ID over here to this particular container, what I can do is in the head section, you can go to head section and write a tag. Just remember that I'm writing this code in the head section. Okay, the style tag always is used inside the head section. Okay, now inside the style, what I will do is I want to apply background color to this particular container, the header container. Okay, so I will reference this particular container by saying that hash header container, curly braces start, curly braces close, and inside this I would write background color as dark orange. Okay, so now if you will see, if you will check your web page, you will see that the color dark orange has been applied to the whole container, right? So this is the usage of the IDs. Okay, and when in the future when we use you will use the JavaScript and these stuff, these IDs and classes will have a very important use case. Okay, so just understand that IDs are given to the tags. Okay, IDs are given to the tags to reference them. Like I want to reference this particular tag, middle info container. I want to apply a background color to them, this particular container. So what I will write is hash middle info container. Inside this, I can write background, color as dark orchid. Right? Similarly, in the footer section, I want the black color. Hash footer container color as okay. So I have applied these styles to individual boxes or individual containers. Okay, so this is the use case of IDs. These are very powerful tools. Okay, this is a very powerful attribute which you can use to individualistically approach or reference your tag or your element. Okay, so this is the usage of ID. And now what you have to understand is the parent child relation. Okay, so what happens is the HTML is a tree structure where the elements are arranged in a parent child structure. So we have one parent over here the HTML tag. Okay, this parent is the topmost parents. Now HTML has one child, head, and another child as body. Okay, the head in turn have two different childs like title and style. Similarly, the body has three divs, right? Three parent containers. Div this header container, second child is middle info container, and the third child is footer container. Okay, so this is the parent-child architecture which in which we have arranged our web page. Okay, this is going to do miracles when you will apply your CSS and you will see how easy your life has become as a web designer or a developer. So what you have done is over here, there is a HTML tag. HTML has head and body. Okay, your head has two different things, title and your style tag. Similarly, your body has three different childs, one two three. One is your header div, sorry, header container. Your middle container is the body, the middle info container, and the third is the footer container, right? Similarly, each of these, like the header container has five childs, five divs inside it, right? The body, the middle info has two divs inside it, and the third one has just one div inside it. If you can imagine your web page in this particular structure, in this parent-child structure, then you are very good to go to apply some advanced level of CSS, and you can arrange your code in a very good manner. Okay, so I think it is enough for today. What we will do tomorrow is we will further proceed to make our web page, this particular created web page, into this form, and tomorrow we will complete this whole web page in this way. Okay, and even we will move further with the concepts of HTML tables and then HTML forms. Okay, and in the end we will have the website of Type Nigeria. Okay, and in the future sessions, like we will have sessions in every 2 months, so people will onboard it, like currently you have filled the Google form and then you have done this thing, but in future you can see that all the things will be done from the website. In the team section you will be able to see Emmanuel and everyone who has volunteered us. Okay, and in this connect with us section, you will be able to check out the Instagram links and stuff. So this is how we are going to proceed. But currently what you have to do is you have to create the skeleton like this, and you have to understand the concept of div, you have to understand the concept of IDs. Okay, then only I will be able to take you further tomorrow at the same time. And for now we are good, we have done enough for the day. If anyone has any doubts, then you can tell us on the comments, in the live comments, or you have any feedbacks or anything, just quickly tell in the comment box. I'm reading the comments. Okay, so I think you guys are clear, and I would recommend that you guys create this particular thing till tomorrow. Okay, and then we will move further in this. And thank you so much for joining in, and looking forward to meet you tomorrow at the same time. Okay, we will be making something like this, and yes, we will be looking into CSS animations and stuff. Okay. Yep. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Take care and bye bye.